Have you ever felt like AI is just, well, a shiny toy? You type in a few prompts, you get a somewhat generic answer back, and then you just go right back to doing all the heavy lifting yourself anyway? Well, today, we're going to completely level up your productivity by mastering Claude AI. If you've been wondering how to actually bridge that gap between just tinkering around and getting serious work done, you are in the exact right place. In this explainer, we're going to transform exactly how you tackle your daily workflow.
So I want you to ask yourself a pretty crucial question right now. Are you just chatting with AI, or are you actually getting work done? It's a huge trap, right? So many of us fall into using these incredibly advanced systems as basically novelty search engines. We ask them trivia questions or just have casual chats when we're bored. But it's time to leave the parlor tricks behind. Today, we're going to take this completely free tool and turn it into a powerful, organized workspace. We're going to make it act less like a chatbot and way more like your own dedicated executive assistant to help you crush your biggest goals.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. 1. Meet your AI assistant. 2. Mastering the basics. 3. Creating with artifacts. 4. Organizing your projects. And finally, 5. Advanced tools and skills.
All right, Section 1. Meet your AI assistant. Navigating the interface.
Let's kick things off with a super quick tour of the main screen because this is where all of your actual conversations are going to happen. Getting comfortable with this layout is literally step 1 to working efficiently. I want you to think of this environment as your brand new digital desk. And unlike a ton of bloated software out there that just bombards you with a million menus and pop-ups, this distraction-free setup is specifically designed to lower your cognitive load. Right there in the middle, you've got the prompt box. That is where you'll type out exactly what you want Claude to do. Over on the left-hand side is your sidebar. That's your hub for starting a fresh chat or digging into the more advanced features we'll be covering in a bit. And down at the bottom, that's quick access to your recent chats, which is perfect for instantly jumping right back into an ongoing task without missing a single beat.
Moving on to Section 2, Mastering the Basics, Iteration and Summarization.
Okay, let's talk about how having a real back-and-forth conversation, what we call iteration, gets you the absolute best results. Imagine you're writing a professional supplier email for, say, a fictitious business like the Kevin Cookie Company. Now, if you just vaguely ask for a supplier email without specifying the exact type of cookie, the AI might just assume you want chocolate chip. I mean, it's the classic, right? But what if your focus today is actually oatmeal raisin? You don't have to delete everything and start from scratch. No way. You simply tell Claude to modify that previous prompt for an oatmeal raisin cookie instead. It'll automatically update the entire message for you. And here is where the massive time saving really kicks in. It actually provides a really neat summary of its changes right at the bottom. So you instantly know exactly what was tweaked without having to sit there and proofread the whole email again.
This back-and-forth dialogue is exactly how you dial in those perfect results. Let's say that first draft comes out just a bit too formal. You can continually refine the context by simply telling it, hey, make this sound a little more urgent, but keep it polite. And boom, Claude instantly adjusts the tone. It'll even set up specific placeholder text right at the top for things like the supplier's name or the date, which totally saves you from accidentally sending out a generic template. And honestly, one of the most seamless parts of this whole workflow, once that email is perfectly polished, you can use a built-in feature to open the results straight into your native email client. It just transfers the text right over, totally ready to hit send, keeping you completely in the zone.
But here's the thing. Claude isn't just a writing tool. It is an incredibly powerful research assistant. We've all been there. It's Friday afternoon, you've got a critical meeting in 20 minutes, and someone drops a dense 50-page PDF report right in your lap. Panic time, right? Well, instead of frantically skimming through it, you can use a quick hover shortcut to start a new chat and literally drag and drop that massive file directly into the prompt box. You can drop in text documents, PDFs, or even incredibly complex spreadsheets. Once it's in there, just ask Claude to pull out the key takeaways. You get to completely skip all that tedious reading and get straight to the actionable information. It's honestly like having a superpower that just rescues your entire afternoon. And by dropping in that dense sales report, Claude doesn't just hand you a generic overview. It goes in and extracts the exact specific data points you need to actually make decisions. For example, it instantly highlights hitting $482,000 in revenue, proving, just like the source material notes, that there really is money in the cookie business. It completely parses through pages of corporate jargon and endless rows of numbers to find those critical insights in seconds. What would normally take you hours of mind-numbing data parsing is handled instantly, handing you the exact metrics you need before you even walk into that meeting.
Section 3. Creating with Artifacts, your AI workspace. So far, we've been using Claude pretty much like a standard chat assistant, but now we are moving into generating things you can actually work on and edit. enter the artifact. By selecting Create Artifact from the drop-down menu, Claude actually stops acting like a simple chat feed where your text just eventually disappears off the top of the screen. Instead, it builds a high-level outline first and then opens up a completely separate, permanent canvas right next to your chat. So let's say we're building out a complex new product launch plan for our oatmeal raisin cookie. You now have this clean, dedicated workspace on one side of your screen and your chat on the other. It is a brilliant side-by-side workflow that completely changes how you interact with AI. Just imagine taking that massive oatmeal raisin launch plan we just created. Because this artifact workspace is totally separate from the chat box, you can just talk to the chat to modify the document. If you ask Claude to make the whole thing more concise, it instantly tightens the plan to half its original length, but keeps all the vital points completely intact. Suddenly realize you need a detailed sales forecast? No problem. Just ask the chat, and it elegantly inserts a brand new section right into the document. But hands down, the most powerful workflow here is the Improve overlay. You can highlight just one specific piece of text within the document, say the executive summary, and click Improve. You tell it to make just that single paragraph more persuasive, and it flawlessly rewrites it without altering a single word of the rest of your perfectly crafted plan.
Let's look at Section 4, Organizing Your Projects, Conquering the Mess.
Now, as you can probably guess, once you start generating multiple documents, editing all these artifacts, and pulling different summaries, your digital workspace can get pretty messy pretty quickly. And that is exactly why we need to utilize projects. By adding your work to a project, you're essentially creating a centralized, highly focused brain for one specific task. Let's look back at our oatmeal raisin cookie launch. Inside this project, we can easily group together our newly renamed launch plan artifact right alongside any market research PDFs we drag in. But the real magic? That lies in custom instructions. You can actually set rules for this specific project. For example, you can tell Claude, hey, always use our brand's enthusiastic tone of voice, or always respond in bullet points. You set this up just once, and Claude automatically applies that gathered knowledge and those specific rules to every single interaction moving forward.
So what does this actually look like for your day-to-day workflow? Well, imagine you're inside that dedicated project and you type the prompt, what should I prioritize for a successful launch? Claude isn't just going to spit back some generic internet answer. It acts like a dedicated team member who has actually read all your files. It intelligently pulls insights from your custom launch plan and cross-references them with those external research PDFs you uploaded. And because it adheres strictly to those custom instructions you set up earlier, it replies perfectly formatted in concise bullet points. Everything stays incredibly organized, and you get expert-level, highly contextualized answers tailored exactly to your business. Finally, Section 5. Advanced Tools and Skills, Supercharging Your Workflow.
To truly let Claude get work done for you automatically, we can take things one step further by connecting it directly to your existing tools. This is where connectors and skills come into play. Let's talk about connectors first. Imagine you've been stuck in back-to-back meetings all day. By linking Claude to your files, your calendar, and your email, it can actively scan your totally chaotic inbox and highlight the single most urgent message from a supplier that needs your immediate attention. Then you've got skills. Skills let you save incredibly specific, reusable instructions. Let's say you have a really particular way you format a weekly data report, a chore that usually eats up 2 hours every Friday. You teach Claude how to do it just once, save it as a skill, and suddenly that 2-hour nightmare turns into a 5-second prompt. You literally never have to repeat your workflow instructions again.
We have covered an absolute ton of ground today. You've seen how to transition from basic prompting to harnessing real back-and-forth iteration. You know how to generate entirely editable workspaces with artifacts, how to synthesize massive amounts of data into focused projects, and how to automate your daily grind with skills and connectors. You have officially leveled up from having a casual chat companion to commanding a full-blown AI workspace. So, knowing what you know now and seeing how much time you can truly save, what will your very first project be? How are you going to use Claude to completely transform your own workflow? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy building.